welcome to SELFi and Kuawezesha, which is Swahili for empower. Some of you know me as Kane, some of you know me as Cash. Either way you know me, you make sure you're empowered. Thanks so much for stopping by. There are apps tracking you right now. I want to read this to you. A new survey by the cybersecurity company NordVPN reveals that 73% of Americans worry about being tracked online. And 35% think that they are monitored almost at all times. However, experts say that people make themselves trackable by accepting cookies, using public Wi-Fi, and even having a smartwatch. These are just some of the many ways to collect that data. With that being said, the one thing we are going to talk about is, applications tracking your data online. A big part of self-empowerment is self-awareness, and you just want to make sure that your activity, your online activity, is only being tracked if you want it to be tracked. Now, a little bit about me, a little bit about your girl, your host here at SELFi Entertainment, is I studied cybersecurity at the master's level. So I can actually give you a couple tips here and there to let you know what you can do to ensure that you are empowered. First things first is we're all downloading applications because we all have different ways that we're connecting with each other, different ways that we are purchasing what we want, something we see that's cute online, something we see that will make us look more fresh. So we're doing all of these things, and sometimes we're not realizing, what that means in the long term. For example, if you see an ad pop up, which I'm sure all of us have seen it, you're scrolling Facebook, you're scrolling down Instagram, and all of a sudden you see something that you were looking at pop up on an application that you did not expect for it to pop up on. You're like, wait, I was just looking at that. How did that happen? Applications are probably tracking you. So what does tracking mean exactly? Well, it means that technically the application developers are going to usually request your information up front and any data that you have. And this data could be anything from your phone number, your name, the type of device you're on, an Apple and Android have you, if you're on an iPad, a cell phone, and then they might actually request to track your activity across different applications that you're actively on. So what's the good and the bad in that? The good is you want more tailored ads and advertisements, then keep everything on. But there have been so many different data breaches that have happened, all because someone has hacked into that specific database and they've taken that information, they've sold it. So now you're getting ads that you may or may not want, or you might get unwanted activity or people tracking you when you really didn't want that. We only want applications tracking us that we're giving permission. So this is how you do that. You'll go to settings, you'll go to privacy and security, and then you'll see tracking. And right underneath tracking, this list shows the applications that requested permission to track you. That requested permission to track you. Yes, you, baby girl, young man, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. You can turn permission on or off for any application on that list. So let me just share, right? When I found this list, all of them were green, meaning that all of them were tracking my activity. And I know I didn't give them permission, at least not knowingly. So when I saw that, I was a little bit alarmed. And I know, right, we don't really want to look at we don't really want to look at the fine print. We don't want to look at the agreements and the terms and things like that, right? But this is a quick and easy way for you to just turn off all tracking from your phone. That way you can just use applications in peace. Now, there is going to be some healthy tracking of your data that just comes standard with any application. You are going to need to log in. You are going to need to, and if you're purchasing an outfit or you're purchasing something, you are going to need to use your credit card information, right? But for some of those gaming apps and just different applications that you really don't want tracking your information, meaning that once you've given it to them, they're not only tracking it, but they are potentially even sharing it with some of their business partners or some of their other, parts of their business, or even selling it. How many of us, let's just be honest, how many of us receive scam phone calls? Probably 100% of us. If there are applications that you are no longer interested in using, you can just delete those. So when you see it, it should say, allow apps to request to track. And this message should pop up. Allow apps to ask to track your activity across other companies, apps, and websites. When this is off, all new app tracking requests are automatically denied. You can click learn more and then it will show you more information about this. In a nutshell, apps that have asked for permission to track your activity with an identifier will appear in that list. So I know we don't really like to do the work of going through our applications on our phones, our iPads, our mobile devices, but it is so key that you actually do a system checkup from time to time. This is all a part of self-empowerment, because the last thing that you want is to have applications tracking you and you don't know where your data is going, you don't know where your information is going, you don't know any of these things, yet and still, because you did not switch that off in your settings, now you have applications tracking you that probably have no business tracking you. Again, there are some good tracking, there is good tracking and there's bad tracking. With any application, you're probably going to give some sort of data about yourself, some sort of information about yourself, and that's completely okay, right? It's all about having a healthy way to share your information, and that the right information and the bare minimum information is shared with applications that may or may not to track you and sell your information. I really, really hope you enjoyed this video. The key takeaways and my call to action to you is make sure that you go into your settings, take some time after this video, and just look to see if there are any applications tracking you. If you've already done this, great. But if you haven't, just test it. Take a look and try it out, because you never know which applications are tracking you and which applications have access to the information, your information that you may or may not want to have access to your information. And to not only have that and see what you're doing, but actually share that with other businesses and companies that you have no relationship with, no partnership with. You don't use their things, you don't use their apps, you don't use any product that they have, yet and still they got your information, all because you allowed an application to track you. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave me a comment down below, and of course, share this with a friend. Share it with a friend, share it with a family member, someone that you know could really use it, because it can come in handy. Even if you don't think that there is an immediate return on investment for something like this, you still just want to do it because it's always better to be safe than sorry. It is always better to be safe rather than sorry. So if you like this tip, let me know. Again, I'm Kanae. Some of you know me as Cash, but either way you know me, you make sure you stay empowered. Thanks so much. Kuawazesha, and until next time, bye.